Napoleon wrasse, also known as Emperor of the Ocean, is a gentle giant fish, a symbol of tropical coral reefs, but is now on the verge of extinction. From being a symbol of the ocean, they have become living gold underwater in the hands of hunters and powerful delicacies in luxury restaurants. In many Asian seafood markets, each one costs up to $500 USD, the price of a still-breathing life. Every time one is sold, the coral ecosystem loses a piece of life. The decline of the Napoleon wrasse is not just the loss of a species, but a sign that the oceans are being drained by human greed. Go discover giant Napoleon fish, the deadly $500 catch, powering a global smuggling empire. Amidst the brilliant coral reef that resembles an underground city, a giant quietly crawls by. Napoleon wrasse, the largest coral fish on the planet. With a body length exceeding 2 meters, a weight of nearly 200 kilograms, and a lifespan of more than 30 years, it is not just a creature, but a living treasure of the coral reef. But what makes the Napoleon wrasse truly special is not its strength or size, but its important ecological role. It is the gatekeeper of the ocean. Only this species dares to confront the stingray starfish, a predator capable of destroying coral reefs in a matter of months. Each time it appears, the Napoleon wrasse is like a silent warrior, maintaining the ecological balance for millions of creatures living in the reef. However, the stunning beauty and rarity turned into a curse. Napoleon wrasse became a sought-after target because of its high commercial value and reputation as the emperor of the sea. The giant fish that once swam leisurely among the reefs now faced nets and traps scattered across the deep sea. The throne of the Sea King was now just a piece of coral that witnessed the devastation. In a world where every species plays a role in survival, losing the Napoleon wrasse isn't just losing a fish, it's losing the last protector of the reef, an alarming scenario for the entire marine ecosystem. On a remote reef, a Napoleon wrasse wriggles in the deep blue light, but thousands of nautical miles to the east, its identical silhouette is held in a glass tank, with a price tag of $500 on the electronic board. In Chinese cuisine, Napoleon fish is considered a power food. The rarer it is, the more expensive it is. An adult can sell for up to $1,200, appearing at luxurious banquets as a symbol of class. In Southeast Asia, that amount of money is enough to feed an entire family of fishermen, prompting them to disregard the ban and hunt. The more it is banned, the higher the price, and each fish caught means another part of the coral reef disappears. From an ocean symbol, the Napoleon wrasse has become a luxury item, expensive, rare, and bloody. In the middle of the tropical sea of Southeast Asia, old wooden boats still silently cut through the waves in the dark night. not for ordinary fishing, but for an adventurous hunt, hunting Napoleon wrasse, the giant and rarest creature of the coral reef. Fishermen use special nets or dive deep with oxygen tanks, weaving through the crevices of coral reefs where Napoleon wriggles often hide. Flashlights sweep across the deep blue water, reflecting off the iridescent scales of the coral king. With just one sweep of the net or one precise spear shot, they can earn a few $100s, an amount equal to a month's labor. However, each time they cast their nets, it was a gamble of life and death. Many had to dive deeper than 984 feet, enduring the terrible pressure of the water and the risk of suffocation. Some never returned just because of a fish worth $500. Napoleon fishing is no longer a profession, but a game for desperate people caught between poverty and prohibition. Each drop of the net into the deep sea not only takes away a rare creature, but also gradually sucks the last breath of the coral reefs, the soul of the ocean. As the giant Napoleon fish were brought ashore, the entire seaside market seemed to come alive. Fishermen quickly washed the fish with seawater, their shiny knives skillfully cutting through the thick, firm, and clear-as-a-gem meat. The salty smell of the sea mixed with the sound of knives and chopping boards. The bustling sales calls create a bustling picture typical of the coastal region. The fish meat is thinly sliced for high-class seafood restaurants. The head and bones are used by people to make soup, a rich, sweet broth that only Napoleon fish has. Every step, from the fisherman's hands to the small fire in the market, contains respect for the king of the sea, a precious gift given by the ocean. In the Wakatobi Islands, Indonesia, a place once famous for hunting Napoleon wrasse, is now a symbol of change. The fishermen of the past have become diving guides, taking tourists to explore the coral reefs and admire the fish they once hunted. Thanks to conservation programs, hundreds of people have been trained in new professions, from coral reef technicians to marine tourism specialists. One fish in the wild now has more sustainable value than 100 captured ones. The old fishing villages have become eco-tourism spots where children learn about the ocean and draw Napoleon fish as a source of pride for their hometown. Each time a fish is released into the sea, the locals call it the Ocean Release Ceremony, a reminder that saving the fish is also saving their own future. Each fish is worth $500, but the price the ocean pays is immeasurable. Each lost creature is a reminder of the ocean's memory, a reminder of human greed. Sign up for Go Discover to explore the stories hidden deep below the surface, where the ocean still whispers lessons for humanity. Hidden beneath the cold sand of the ocean floor, these seemingly insignificant creatures are the lifeblood of the entire coastal industry. We are talking about deep-sea scallops, the mollusks that make thousands of people go out to sea every season to fight for every kilogram of weight, every minute of life. At first glance, they just look like fan-shaped shells lying quietly on the seabed. But inside is a thick white mussel, known as the soft gold bar of high-class cuisine. These clams cannot be farmed commercially. They only appear at the right time in the right water under the right seabed conditions and disappear if overfished. Therefore, each fishing season is a gamble, and there is no second chance. And that is why when the fishing season opens, the seaport is bustling like a general mobilization. Because everyone understands only in that golden hour the 50-ton opportunity really appears. Knowing where to find clams is only half the battle. The other more difficult part is timing. Each year, the U.S. government opens certain areas of the ocean, like George Bank or the Mid-Atlantic Bight, to fishing for just a few short weeks, dividing them into GPS-based blocks and allowing fishing only in areas that meet certain densities and sizes. Each boat is given a strict quota, so every hour of fishing must be carefully calculated. Go too early, the clams are still small, or the water is murky. Go too late, the clams release eggs, or the meat is of poor quality. The whole trip will fail. Therefore, experienced captains must read the currents, the seabed, the temperature, and even the lunar calendar to choose the right golden moment when the sea opens. Then the ships quietly left the dock, starting a fierce race to reach 50 tons in less than 24 hours, where even the smallest mistake could cost the entire season. When the fishing season officially opens, the boats leave the harbor in the cold night. The yellow lights flicker across the water, reflecting on the waves like a silent warning. The race is on, and there is no room for error. On deck, there was no laughter, just the roar of the engines. Each beat a reminder that today's target was 50 tons of scallops, or nothing at all. In a race where every minute is worth thousands of dollars, people cannot be alone. They need specialized tools specifically designed for the harsh ocean conditions and biological characteristics of scallops. The center of all activity is dredge, a heavy metal device resembling a giant basket pulled close to the seabed by steel cables. The wide mouth of the net catches the sand current, while metal bars at the front legs gently stir up the sediment and dislodge the clams from the sand so they can be drawn into the net without breaking their shells. Only 2-3 nets are allowed on each boat depending on regional regulations. One pull takes 45 to 60 minutes, and if positioned correctly, each haul can yield hundreds to thousands of kilos of clams. But being in the right place is never luck. Captains must become marine analysts, read currents bottom topography, lunar calendar, and even weather fluctuations. system high-precision GPS sonar scanning the seabed, and the temperature salinity flow sensors become electronic eyes. Some modern boats even link data to satellites to analyze the likelihood of oyster beds in each area and decide whether to lower the net or move on. Only when the conditions are right, the right coordinates, the right time, the right current, is the net dropped. Then there is no more hesitation. Everything works immediately. At sea, everything works like a machine that cannot be out of sync. The net is lowered, pulled close to the bottom, then raised again, repeated like that. The ship's urgent heartbeat, each net was poured onto the floor. The clams were thick wet, covered with sand. The sailors immediately sorted the fish by hand, picking up the qualified ones, discarding the small ones. No one had time to look up. The sea wind stung their faces, the waves crashed, but their hands kept working tirelessly. Every minute is a kilo that can be lost, is an opportunity that can disappear because of a bad catch or because of missing the sweet spot. Not every oyster pulled up is worth anything. Right on the deck, sailors have to sort each one by eye and hand. Clams that are too small, have cracked shells, or have bruised muscles will be discarded immediately. Very strict standards. Only those that are at least 4 inches in diameter with even white flesh and no blemishes are eligible for export. A small defect can reduce the value by up to 70%. Deep-sea scallops do not swim in schools or migrate hundreds of kilometers like salmon or tuna. They choose a different lifestyle lie, still on the cold sand from the water surface, approximately 131 to 328 feet, where light almost never reaches. What makes scallops special to fishermen is they don't move much. Large oyster beds that will last for years if protected. Thanks to this feature, the sweet spots on the sea floor, clean sand, rich food, stable currents, become fixed treasures that experienced captains memorize like treasure maps. Immediately after selection, the clams are put into the cooling system. Soak in chilled seawater at 0 to 2 degrees to maintain freshness. Some ships also install temperature sensors in each tank for continuous monitoring. Speed is of the essence. If delayed, the clams will lose water, lose quality, and even be rejected entirely upon arrival at the port. When the ship arrives at the port, each crate is assigned a tracking code and transferred directly to the refrigerated container. The cold chain must not be broken because that is the boundary between high-end goods and waste. And it is this cold process maintained from the deep sea to the factory that helps scallops retain their value before entering the final inspection stage. As soon as the refrigerated container arrives, the clams are unloaded directly into the processing line in a closed, cold environment. Each crate is tagged with a traceability code, clearly stating the vessel name, fishing coordinates, time of netting, and storage conditions. Meanwhile, factory staff must wear full body protective gear, go through a disinfection chamber, and strictly adhere to food safety standards. On the conveyor belt, the clams are cleaned with high-pressure water jets. Then, the shells are separated by a specialized mechanical system. Only the white muscle is retained, the rest is completely removed. Modern scanners will automatically classify according to size, color, and uniformity. Any parts of the meat that show signs of being crushed or have strange colors will be immediately and mercilessly discarded. Some batches are also sent to a microbiological testing laboratory where meat samples are tested for heavy metal residues, bacteria, and freshness. Every step in the process is recorded, ensuring consistent quality and absolute traceability. Finally, the clams are packaged as required, vacuum-packed individually quick frozen IQF, or kept alive in sterile seawater for export by air. Labels indicate the date of processing, the area of harvest, and the expiry date, all ready for the final journey. And that is when scallops step out of the cold industrial chain into the world of high-end cuisine, where every slice, every drop of sauce will determine the true value of this seemingly silent creature. In high-end restaurants, scallops are more than just an ingredient. They are a symbol of purity and cutting-edge technique. A slice of pan-fried fish, golden brown on the outside, soft and sweet on the inside. It doesn't need much seasoning, just a little butter, a few drops of lemon to keep the taste of the sea. A meal of just a few bites can reach the threshold of $100, not only because it is delicious, but because behind it is a whole chain of strict labor, from fishing preservation to strict inspection. Whether it's Japanese sashimi or French grill scallops are always given absolute respect because everyone understands this cannot be faked, cannot be rushed. And when diners enjoy it, they do not know that each piece of clam is the crystallization of the ocean and the lives of people who depend on the sea. In ports like this, 150 tons of scallops a season isn't just a catch, it's the lifeblood of the community. If you love the real stories behind each dish, then subscribe channel. Join us to explore many other amazing journeys from the ocean. Thanks for watching. See you in the next episode.